Hi everybody, we're just gonna wait just a minute for people to jump on. So we'll just give everybody a couple minutes, a couple seconds maybe. Hi everybody joining, I hope you're having a good Tuesday. So we're going to be doing these Teal Talk Tuesdays every month this year. So we're going to have one each month that we're going to be doing, and they're going to be different topics. So tune in. We'll be posting all about when we do them each month as well. Hi Lauren. Hi everybody joining. All right, so we're gonna just get started and people will jump on kind of as we're talking. This is all gonna be recorded, so we'll be posting it later on today on our Facebook, Instagram. We also have a YouTube page, so if anyone's interested, we have all of our videos uploaded to that as well. Yes. Awesome, so Yes, so Teal Talk as in sexual assault awareness. So we do Teal Talks every month. April is actually Sexual Assault Awareness Month, so we'll be doing probably a lot more than just one in April. We'll probably do one every week or so, kind of depending. Different topics, yeah. Awesome, okay, so for those of you that don't know or haven't heard about SARC, we are a nonprofit agency that serves survivors of sexual violence. So we provide completely free and confidential services such as free counseling. We also do crisis intervention, so we do a 24-hour hotline at any time. Anyone can call it, ask questions, maybe talk about their experience. Whatever they need, we will listen and we will hear them and refer them out to other resources if needed. So again, for those of you that don't know, my name is Jennifer. I am one of the education and outreach specialists. So kind of what I do is I do educational videos like this. I also do presentations and trainings and workshops with different schools and businesses in town. So kind of just whoever wants to listen, whoever's interested or wants to learn more about sexual violence or just topics around sexual violence, we are happy to teach and talk and discuss all of the different aspects of it. So if you're interested in those, you can just shoot us an email. All of our information is on our website. It's sarcbv.org. Our hotline is on there as well. So I see a couple people jumped on here now, so we're gonna get started with our content today. So since Valentine's Day is coming up this weekend, we are gonna talk about consent. It is extremely important for us to be having this discussion because even though consent seems a little bit, it seems simple, and some people even say that, like, we know what consent is, why are we talking about this, all these questions, very valid questions, like, why are we talking about this? So there are a lot of reasons why. It's actually a lot more complex than we really think. I think the way that consent has been looked at in the past has changed a little bit now. We're changing the narrative of what it actually looks like and what needs to be required within sexual activity in a relationship with partners and whoever it may be. So we're going to dive into that today. And again, this is going to be recorded so you can refer back to it if you miss any information or if you come in late as well. So what does consent look like? Consent looks like a lot of different things. I'm going to talk about 3 main points today. Of course, there are a lot more than that. And if you have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat throughout. Just know that the chat is not confidential. So if you have any personal questions, please call our hotline or shoot us an email and we can get that answered for you. So again, what does consent look like? Consent needs to be enthusiastic, it needs to be coherent, and it needs to be freely given. So let's start with enthusiastic. So what does that exactly mean? It needs to be a verbal, enthusiastic yes. So somebody needs to be interested and be able to verbally say yes. Now that might look different in long-term relationships, but the key point here is that there needs to be communication. So before you start engaging in sexual activity with your partner, there needs to be that open and honest communication about boundaries, about what consent looks like for you, and about what you might be comfortable with and what you know for sure that you are not comfortable with. So communication is such a key word with consent. Consent looks different for everybody. So if you are just learning about a partner or just really starting to hang out with somebody, it's important to kind of know what their consent looks like so you can keep everybody safe. So you'll be safe in it, and also your other partner will be safe as well. In the past, we have really looked at the format of no means no, and that's kind of what I was taught growing up, and it's very important to make sure that there is power to no and you respect when somebody says no. However, we're kind of shifting, again, the narrative right now to a yes means yes format. And so there are a lot of different reasons for that, but one of the main ones being is that just because there might be an absence of no does not mean that there's automatically a yes. So that's why we need to be looking for that verbal, enthusiastic yes, because if we look at high stress situations, what our trauma response is, what our responses are in these high stress situations, it's fight, flight, or freeze. So some individuals who are in very stressful situations might freeze. So they might not be able to say no. That's why we have to be looking for that verbal yes, making sure that they are comfortable in that situation as well. It's also important to ask for permission throughout the whole sexual activity. So just because somebody is consenting to one activity does not mean that they are consenting to everything going on. So keep checking in throughout and make sure that they are comfortable. Again, that's another key word. There's going to be communication is a key word, being comfortable, making sure that everybody is safe in this situation. These are all very, very key words. The next one we have on here is coherent. So you need to make sure your partner is not under the influence of any substances where they cannot make a decision. So you need to make sure that they are not too drunk, too much under the influence of drugs, that they are able to make a coherent decision. And I know that can be difficult, but always better to be on the safe side, and always better to just wait until somebody is sober or coherent for this situation to happen. Because some people can hide how they're feeling and maybe hide how drunk they are a lot better than others. So safest bet is just to wait until they're sober, or make sure that they are completely coherent enough to be able to consent for whatever activity that is being done. So last one is freely given. Now this one is extremely, extremely important, because with freely given, there might be a situation where somebody will say yes because somebody is pressuring them or threatening them or blackmailing them. So this enthusiastic yes needs to be freely given. So there can't be any type of pressure behind it, no threats behind it, and no blackmail, of course. So it is interesting though, because I love a good rom-com. I love romantic comedies. That's like my favorite thing to go. But when you look through it through the lens of consent, sometimes it gets a little sketchy and boundaries are crossed. So in the media and in the past, in movies and in TV shows, people put an emphasis on, if you want somebody, fight for them, keep asking them out, let them know you like them. And of course, within reason, that is understandable. However, if somebody is continuing to pressure and push somebody into an activity or to go on a date, that is not freely given. So somebody might get so worn down and so tired of saying no that they just say yes, even if they don't want to do it. So we got to make sure we're not pressuring people and that we're really making that freely given. We can always say, if they say no, we can say, okay, well, the door's open whenever you are ready, but don't keep pushing them kind of to do it. So that is kind of another thing. Again, I love a good rom-com, but when you look at it through the lens of consent, sometimes they get a little weird and they cross boundaries. So something to think about when you're watching your next rom-com on Valentine's Day, if you're doing a Galentine's Day. So we talked about what consent actually looks like, but let's kind of shift gears and talk about what consent does not look like. When we're looking to our partner for consent, we need to be looking at their body language as well. So there are certain signs where a person would be uncomfortable. So really low eye contact. So if they're not making eye contact at all, if they seem completely disengaged, they seem like they're not moving, they seem that they're not into it. Again, we got to be looking for that body language to make sure that they are comfortable in that situation. And if we see that the partner is maybe not making eye contact, doesn't have the best body language, isn't looking like they're interested, we immediately need to stop and check in and just make sure they're okay, because they might not be able to speak up and say something because they might be in that situation where they're stressed out and they may not be able to say no or talk about this. So always check in. It's better to be safe than sorry. Make sure they're okay first. And if they say that they're fine, then you can continue, but you have to make sure that they are okay. Some other ones is, pushing away. If they are visibly upset, if they're crying at all, if they are, again, not making eye contact, if their body language is disengaged, that's when we really need to check in. We need to stop and make sure they're okay in that moment. Another thing that is absolutely not consent is if somebody is under the legal age of consent. That's just kind of a given. I Most people already know that, but I always like to say it just in case people are on here that don't or somebody watches it. Individuals must be over the age of consent. It's different in each state. For Texas, it's over the age of 17. They need to be over the age of consent to an activity. Also, just because you are in a relationship does not mean that is automatically consent. You need to make sure you're like checking in with your partner, checking in with them, making sure they're okay. That's the big thing. Communicating on what you're interested in, communicating on what your boundaries are. Just because there's a relationship does not mean there's consent. Also, in relationships, just because you might have done that activity before does not mean that gives everybody a pass for the future, that it is going to be consensual every time. You still have to check in, because maybe somebody was comfortable with something last week and maybe they're not feeling like they're in the mood for that again this week. So we don't want to push somebody. We want to make sure everybody in the situation feels comfortable, feels safe, feels able to communicate and able to talk and really able to say how they feel in that situation and in that sexual activity. So these are just kind of is a very, very, very quick overview. I can probably talk about this for an hour, and so if you're interested or if you are wanting to learn more about it, again, please visit our website and email us, and we can create a whole consent workshop, kind of whatever the needs are of your organization, your school, your business, whatever it is. Please contact us and we can help you out there. But I hope everybody has a great rest of your week. I hope everyone has a wonderful Valentine's Day or Galentine's Day, however you celebrate it. And if you don't, that's okay too, up to you. But yeah, again, please call us if you need anything. Our hotline is 979-731-1000. I hope everybody has a really, really wonderful week. And I am going to figure out how to end this. Okay, I think I do it right here. All right, bye everybody. Have a good day.